Pagi teman-teman semua. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Kita sambil menunggu narasumbernya, mungkin teman-teman kalau yang kira-kira kameranya bisa on, di-on-kan aja ya. Kita ada perbedaan waktu dengan Filipina sekitar 1 jam. Jadi di sana itu jam 10 ya, jam 10. Ini mudah-mudahan sudah bisa bergabung beliaunya nanti. Teman-teman semua. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kita sambil menunggu narasumbernya, mungkin teman-teman kalau yang kira-kira kameranya bisa on, di-on-kan aja ya. Kita ada perbedaan waktu dengan Filipina sekitar 1 jam. Jadi ada delay ya kalau live di YouTube ya. Ini kan kita live di YouTube juga. Saya coba juga. Saya udah selesai ngomong, dia baru muncul. Nanti teman-teman terkait dengan penelitian teman-teman, terkait statistik, boleh juga diskusi dengan narasumbernya nanti. Atau misalnya terkait dengan mata kuliah lain juga boleh, karena beliaunya ekspor di farmasi komunitas dan farmasi klinis. Good morning, Mark.
Hello, good morning.
How are you today?
I'm very good. I'm fine. Thanks.
Thank you. Finally, you can join with us.
Yes, definitely.
Your expertise, your knowledge for my students. So maybe we can start in 5 minutes, all right?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Good morning to all, most especially your students and to all our dear colleagues who are here. Good morning, my friends, Baguio.
Yes, thank you. So actually we have 2 hours, but if you can finish in 1 hour, it's okay. And then we can, after your presentation, we can discuss about maybe my student have Any questions? Right. So wait a moment, right, Mark?
Yeah, I'm just here. I'll be waiting. I'm be waiting, of course. Yeah. Thank you.
Baik teman-teman, kalau kameranya bisa di-on-kan, silakan. Saya sebentar nih ada ganti background dulu. Okay, can we start right now, Mark?
Yes, sure, we can. Hello, hello. It's nice
Yes.
to see you again. Okay, you see me clearly?
Apa kabar?
Yeah, hello. It's been a while.
So yes, we have a meeting now through the online Zoom meetings. So actually, I'd like to make this meeting is informal. Is it okay for you?
Yes, of course, of course.
Yes. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, my students, the opening ceremony is going to start in 1 minute. So please enjoy your Zoom meetings, and maybe you can have some coffee, tea, or some snacks maybe. So our colleagues, my friends, Professor Mark Ryan Light from Philippines, he will be share his expertise and his experience during doing research in pandemic era. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I delighted to welcome you to the virtual general lecturer. Actually, it's not a general lecture because you are a professor, right, Mark? We can rename this meeting is a visiting lecturer. So yes, this virtual visiting professor is aimed to share information, share expertise from your side to my students actually. So I'm very, very honored having you in these mornings. So on behalf of the Medica University of Medica Suhermans, my rector and also my head of departments cannot attend this morning. So I will run this virtual as alone. So I hope these meetings will be what we call Mark, will be useful for my students, and then they can grab all informations. They can grab all your knowledge in 1 hour, so they can implement what they get today to doing research for the skripsi, yeah, we call it skripsi. So I hope they cannot have any difficulties during their research in end of the studies. So okay, Max, I think it's yours. I'm afraid I'm wrong to describe of you. Maybe you can describe of yourselves, and then
I'll do that.
Zoom meetings. Yes, and Zoom meeting and screen is yours. I will make you as a co-host first. Please,
Yes.
Mark.
Okay, so
thank you very much.
Share my screen first. Thank you. Okay, please do tell me if you can.
Yes, I will make you as a co-host first. Oh, you already? Okay, thank you.
Can you see it already?
Yes.
Okay, let me just have a better view of this. Okay. There
Can
you
we
go.
have your presentation today, Mark?
Yes. What do you mean?
Yes.
You
Okay.
would like to this one? Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. So can we start? Should I start already?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. A pleasant morning to all. Of course, my dear friend here, Ahmad, Mr. Subagio. Thank you very much. It's nice to see you again after our first meeting during the FAPA Congress that was in Thailand, right? In Bangkok, Thailand in
Bangkok.
2016.
Yes.
Correct, correct. And I also would like to give my greetings, felicitations. I know they will be able to see this video soon to our dear colleagues, our administrators, to the dean, and to all the faculty at Universitas Medica Suherman. Thank you for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be here. The first time that Mr. Sabagio told me, my dear friend told me if he can invite me in his class and be able to talk, I definitely said yes. I immediately said yes because if there's one thing that was really inculcated in me, something that I have learned during our first meeting in that FAPA Congress in Bangkok, Thailand, that is with cooperation and collaboration. That when we started, remember that, my friend, Mr. Subagio, remember when we were with other
Yes.
pharmacies
Yes.
all
Yes.
over
Of course.
Asia. Yes, from Thailand, from Taiwan,
From
also, of
Taiwan
course, from the
also, and
Philippines.
then
Where else?
yes.
Malaysia. Yes, everyone. I do miss them a lot. No? From Korea also, right? So
Yes.
from then on, we said that we are going to work together in our littlest ways, be it in pharmacy and most especially in health. So there you go. I researched a little bit. I hope I get it correct. Salamat pagi to all of you, my dear colleagues, and most especially to your students. Did I get that right, friend? Salamat pagi, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Selamat
yes.
pagi.
Salamat
Correct.
pagi. Good morning. It's a pleasant morning here. There's just 1 hour difference between Indonesia and our country, my country here in the Philippines. It's past 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's a beautiful Saturday morning. And we have here our topic. And like we always say in the Philippines, mabuhay from the Philippines. So let me start. My topic is on the research in pharmacy and health amidst the pandemic. I am Mark Ryan Langit. I'm coming from St. Louis University, and that is in the Philippines. That is in the northern part of the Philippines. I really would like to invite you to come over in my university. I hope when the time, the circumstances would permit, if we will no longer, if we'll be able to solve this pandemic situation, that's why we're having this topic, right? And we can visit each other. I would also be very happy to see your school soon, your university. So I've heard much already, and I've seen it very much when my dear friend told me about your university. I went immediately to your website, right? And I've seen that one. So it's the University of Medica Suherman, or Universitas Medica Suherman. So let me introduce myself a little bit, although I won't be, of course, the very star here, but it should be our topic, right? So this would be my acknowledgement as well as my disclosure of interest. I am a licensed pharmacist here in the country, in the Philippines, since 2002, having finished my degree BS Pharmacy at St. Louis University, and I also obtained my degree Master of Science in Pharmacy from the same university. We were offered a scholarship for our doctorate of philosophy or PhD in pharmacy. Hence, I am now a candidate. I am 2 units away from that one. I hope we'll be able to finish that soon so that we can have our degree PhD in pharmacy. And that is from the University of Santo Tomas. Well, I am a member of the steering committee of FIP. I know you've heard of our FIP, or International Pharmaceutical Federation. specifically of community pharmacy section. But for my talk this morning, I will not be speaking as somebody from the FIPCTS, okay? But I am the Executive Secretary of the Philippine Pharmacists Association, or the PPHA. That's the national organization of all the pharmacists here in the Philippines. And towards the end of my lecture here, I will be sharing to you also some of the important points of the research agenda by PPHA with regards to research for pharmacists here in the country. Well, I am also the chair of the Professional Specialization Committee of the Philippine Pharmacists Association. But then again, I will not yet be sharing to you. I will not be talking here as the chair of that committee, but I do hope I'll be able to share with you also in maybe some other time in another talk and another topic about our plans for the specialization committee. Primarily, I was invited by our dear friend, Mr. Subagio, because I am a professor at the Department of Pharmacy of St. Louis University. So I will share with you here, being a professor, I am also member of the research team, or we call ourselves as the faculty research promoters, where we have our students with us being co-researchers. And when we produce our researches, we as the faculty, or I as a faculty, becomes the lead author or the principal investigator, with my students as my co-lead or my co-researchers. I hope we also have the same structure as yours, but definitely I know that we are headed towards a good and research-driven learning, okay, for our future pharmacists. We have our chat box here. Maybe we can, if you have some questions later on, if you do not wish to, but of course, definitely you can always, I would like to hear your voice also. I'd like to see your videos later on. You may give me when that portion comes later, right? You can give your comments or maybe your questions, or you can also have them on the chat box if you simply would like to say hi, hello, and good morning to you. Okay, so after all of those acknowledgement and disclosure of interest, I would like to claim that I am in no conflict of interest with the topic that I will be discussing this morning. All right, so let me proceed with the outline of our talk this morning. So the research in pharmacy and health. Okay, good thing Mr. Subagio, my friend, informed me a few days ago if I may include it in general, the talk of health. I do believe that we also have some colleagues or our friends, not only from the pharmacy curriculum, or rather from the pharmacy program, right? Are we still having the other colleagues, other profession from the other departments, Mr. Subagio, my friend? Do we still have them from the, I understand with your history, this is also Health Institute, right? So we are having nurse, midwife, and also from health administration.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay. Hello to all of you. No? So we are not only talking to our future pharmacists, but to all our future health professionals. It's nice always to be with you, as with the first words that I mentioned earlier. This is all about health, or all about cooperation and collaboration. And I would be emphasizing on that also later on. So mabuhay, as we always say here in the Philippines, or meaning long live to all of us here. We are in one significant situation, health situation, all over the world. And what we are doing now is indeed significant, because this will give us the driving force to at least give our contributions to find solutions to these health problems. So again, with my outline, we have here our introduction, and then we will look a little bit on the current COVID situation, but it is more of a situation where COVID has placed us health professionals. And then I will be sharing with you some of our research directions and strategies that we are doing. And hopefully, as our takeaways, we will have this learning insights. Okay, so I got this from some of the websites available. And I'd like to show how our communities are surviving together with this COVID-19 pandemic. I no longer included those pictures of patients who are suffering because I would like to implant more of positivity with our talk, especially it's a beautiful morning, as we have said. So what we are showing here are health professionals. We see here pharmacists, nurses, doctors. I know we also have, definitely we have others like midwives also, okay? And other health administrators working together. You see here those taking or giving the vaccines, okay? Is that what we mean with vaccinasi merdeka, or did I get this one correct? And also for those who are needing their health with their health concerns or their health issues, okay? With this picture, I know that we are looking, okay, for more strategies, for more innovations, and we're hoping to go for a good direction towards that amidst and despite of the COVID-19. This one is another picture, okay? In fact, this is from the Philippines. The one on your left is there is a queue here where it's part of the policies for the COVID-19 pandemic guidelines that they have to be on physical distancing. People are now flocking our establishments, particularly pharmacies and drugstores, where they are getting their essentials, okay? Aside from the medicines, aside from drugs that they need, you can see here that's a bottle of water. It is also in the pharmacy where they get important goods in order to survive. I have a similar talk before, and it was entitled, during the COVID pandemic, the pharmacy, the drugstore will always and will is always open and will never close, because we would always be here for the public or for the community. Now, still on our communities and on COVID-19, it has pushed us to more of interventions and more of our services. That's why on your right, you can see here vaccination, the giving of that very important vaccine, so that we are going with that of our target, hoping, okay, that we'll be able to cover this and achieve herd immunity soon. But yes, the pictures of those who are suffering, we may not have included them here. We have our communities, not that we are sugarcoating it, but what we would like to our dear future health professionals, future pharmacists, and all our dear colleagues will see is how we are thriving, how we are doing our very best in order to champion against this COVID-19. And this, as I've said, is what I would like you to concentrate on our realizations from this pandemic. You might be asking, or you might have asked yourselves already, after all this quarantine, with all these lockdowns, with all the people looking for the medicine, for the right solution, with these uncertainties brought about by COVID-19, what have we learned? What do we have here? And what are we going to do? For almost 2 years already, are we still sitting? Okay, are we still sulking, as they say? Are we still very idle? Or are we in denial that we cannot yet accept what we are now? Some are complaining of, like here in the country, we are still on an online setup. Okay, we still don't have face-to-face classes. Some are still locked in their homes. But even if it's already going for 2 years, I hope by this time we already made our realizations, meaning we have pondered already on this situation. We are thinking of what else can we do about it. Yes, it is true that we do have uncertainties. We have been thinking a lot, as brought about by COVID-19. And with these uncertainties, I've mentioned here that our organizations, be it at work, in the university, in school, these uncertainties definitely have made us recognize leadership and even explore new ways of how we can work so that we will be able to continue with our lives. And so we have three realizations with this pandemic. What lessons do we need to learn from this? Another, how do we take advantage of this experience? Okay, it's not that we are very happy with this, but in our lifetime, you know, well, we hope that this will not happen again, but of course, okay, it happened while we are alive, and we are thankful that we are still alive and we are surviving each day. But with this COVID experience, oh, by the way, I am even a COVID survivor. I contracted the virus last summer, and thank God that we are here, we are breathing, we are in front of you sharing this. And so what with with that experience of mine, with your personal experiences, how can we take advantage of this? And the third one is what is critical to consider of post-COVID. Like what we are doing now, we are already looking into what we can do, okay, with research, despite of having this pandemic, and hoping that with the lessons that we are getting here, we can move forward. And when we say we move forward, we are also moving upward. There would be already this lessons learned, and that there would be improvement already. It's important that we now consider our post-COVID life. I understand that there are some of us who would say we don't know. Whatever comes on the day, that's how we survive it. Yes, at the onset of COVID-19, we have been surviving on a daily basis, but somehow we are seeing the pattern already, but somehow we know that preparation should be here. And so we have to think also, what will be our lives? And then if we apply that of our topic, what will be our research strategies and our research activities after this COVID-19? Looking forward to that one. Because if I may share this one with you, no? I mention this all the time, not only with research, but in our daily activities, and for our dear students, for your learning, for my dear colleagues, for our work, and to all of us for our lives. No? I hope if you agree with me that in this time of disruption, okay, in this COVID-19, in fact, it is also a time of opportunity. By looking ahead through new transformative lens that is given to us by this situation, we can reframe our future. Because we're looking not just simply of how this virus is stopping our lives, but we are looking on how we can go on with it and how we are still going to be able to defeat it and how we can move forward. And so since we are now getting and learning new skills day by day, slowly, but of course there's progression, we're looking into a brighter future. And I hope that is a positive note that we are sharing to all of you. This COVID-19 pandemic is indeed an opportunity to ensure a more successful future for science and for public health. Can you see the picture on your left? There is a difference. We can be this person who is really exhausted, someone who can no longer go on with this track, this race, because he has been carrying the problem. But if you look closely, just like the COVID virus, it's round, right? This problem can actually be shaped into how it can help us, okay, move forward and look into this opportunity, as I've said, to reframe and to have a successful science future as well as with the public or community health. Hence, on the right picture that I am showing you now is how we, of course, we have to wear our PPEs, no? And what I'm saying is with the policies that are already set because of this pandemic situation, we are going to embrace that. But at the same time, we are still going to work, okay, closely and continuously, and we will not stop with our endeavor towards science and that of public health, okay? So you might see yourselves in the nearest future, okay, in one of those scientists, in one of those professionals who may be in PPEs, okay, in protective equipments and gears, but are still looking into ways on how we can use science in order to promote or even to protect public health. Now, aside from that of public health, I hope, please give me the indulgence as a pharmacist. And this one is addressed, of course, to our future pharmacists, our dear colleagues, and even to everyone, okay? So that we will also have an idea of what our dear pharmacists are looking into with our evolving role. Yes, even without yet the pandemic, this has already started. And as I share to you that there's already an evolving role for us pharmacists. And I know this is also the same with the rest of health professionals, with our nurses, with our midwives, and even all health administrators. That in the future, we need already to specialize. It can be on digital, okay, where we will help our patients and our providers to select, to implement, manage digital therapeutics, like what we are doing now, right? Via Zoom, by Google Meet, by teleconferencing, with their digital therapeutics, with non-drug solutions, including food. Then we will be able to help them meet their needs. We also have to specialize in medical because we specialize in the treatment and the management of complex diseases, even with polychronic patients, and so that we should also have a deep understanding of genetics, okay? And we also specialize in behavioral. We have finished one meeting at the FIP, okay, in the community pharmacy section, where one of the focus now would be on mental health. How we health professionals, pharmacists included, of course, can deliver services while there is also looking into the mental health of our patients, of our colleagues, and even our own mental health, and the other necessary behavioral changes in order to stay compliant and be able to address social determinants of health. So you see, we said that we have to specialize digital, medical, behavioral in order to meet our patients where they are, whether they are virtual, they are at the medical centers, or in the comfort of their homes. We will see them there. And so this one, okay, if you look also on the picture here, it's a very nice artwork where we can, in fact, as scientific members of the scientific and health community, if you look at that, there is a happy face, a sad face, and there is also some uncertainties, the question mark. Because what we do in the scientific community, in the medical and the health professions, okay, well, we definitely still have some questions in mind that we'd like to be answered. There are some sad faces, but we're looking into it. Look at the two health professionals in their lab gown there. They're not moving away from that sad face. They're looking into it on how they can find a way to make it happy. Just like how the two, this time, okay, professionals in front of the green happy face there, because they find solution. Okay, they found a good solution in order to bring again a happy face for the community. This is coming from that message of John Cook, a doctor or the medical director of RNA therapeutics program at Houston Methodist Hospital's Debakey Heart and Vascular Center. He said that one of the biggest lessons that we have learned from COVID is that our community, the scientific community, is working together, and that our working together can do some pretty amazing things. Okay, we're not looking into one big, okay, extravagant activity immediately that can make the entire world smile at one time, at one snap of our finger. No, but all together in our littlest ways. But if we put all of this, okay, together, yes, this some pretty amazing things. Those would create a ripple, and soon enough, we will have a good solution. And here, I got this. If you came across already Springer, one of our journals, and they're available online. Okay, I have here their URL at Springer Nature. Okay, as I mentioned with you, the research innovations, directions, and strategies. Yes, there's definitely and still our research in the time of a pandemic. It reminds me of a novel also that was written long before, that of Love in the Time of Cholera. I don't know if some of you have already read that. It's a period historical and a love story, but well, it's not very related with what we are having now. But it's still a pandemic. It involves a health condition of uh, cholera at that time. And in that story, it also involves several people and with their activities. And I am relating it to what we are having now. Our research, okay, our activities that is happening in this situation, health situation affecting not only in our respective countries, not only in our own bubble in the community, but in fact, all peoples in the world. But there is one statement here that I hope that will move you also. What do we see? Research has never moved faster. And please let us not doubt the proceedings of the research that are happening now. Some have casted, some are saying that how come we have studied in our drug development, on drug discovery, that it will take more than 5, 10 decades long in order to research and to produce and develop a drug. But what we are saying is that if you remember how we mentioned of how we are all doing our part in the scientific community, this is already giving us the leverage. This is already giving us now the momentum to look and to find answers. Before, it has only been this laboratory working on it. Separately, there's this laboratory. Before, we only have one university, maybe your university working alone, my university working on the other side. But now, you see, we're all connected. We are now being united. And so with this, putting now our best, all together, then we can move faster and forward our research activities. Let me share with you this COVID-related health professions researches, because I know with this topic, this is what we would like to give and share with you, right? What we are going into, what we are doing, especially in the university, with questions of we cannot go to our physically to our laboratory, we cannot be working all the time, okay? We cannot just simply go face to face and interviewing people in the community, okay, if that is the kind of research that you are doing. Some are having difficulty with their resources, okay, even with the laboratory animals. Some of you might not be able to see them or find a supplier for them, okay? But would that mean that we have to stop already? Would that mean that we will no longer proceed? It is a little bit painful for some of us experiencing a halt or stop on what we're doing. Even on my parts for my dissertation, I'm supposed to travel the entire country, going to the different cities and conducting some talks, some lectures, and as well as doing some interviews with key people. But I, just like Indonesia, Philippines is also an archipelago composed of different islands. I have to hop from different place to another, I have to travel, but we're having restrictions. So I have to stop with that strategy. But that doesn't mean that I cannot continue with my research. So I already talked with my advisor, and that's one important thing, no? Communication. I am also giving my proper communication to some institutions like the health research panel of mine, okay, in my dissertation, even to the ethics committee of the university, so that they are going to allow me to proceed with a new strategy where I am going online, where instead of conducting it in a certain place, a venue, gathering all the people, since we cannot do that, there are limitations of gathering already in a place because of this, to curb the spread of the virus. So what we are to do is to go digital, we go internet, and just like what we're doing now, this is how I'm going to proceed with my research. Okay, so as I've said, we have two on our screen right now. I got this from an online research from the university where I am obtaining my PhD. This is the Antoninus Journal, okay? The antoninus.com.ph, or you can see this also from the University of Santo Tomas. If you've heard of that, this is one of the oldest, if not the oldest university in Asia. There is a faculty of pharmacy with medical technology and biochemistry. There's also the College of Science, and where I am enrolled, it's the graduate school. Okay, so this one is entitled Minimizing the Overall Risk Score of Physical Therapists at Work During COVID-19 Pandemic. So as you can see here, they are the PTs or physical therapists remain at work even during this COVID-19 pandemic. But the study is looking on how they can minimize, okay, the risk that they are contracting since they are hands-on, they're very close and they're working with the patients. That can be a good topic. Another is on breast cancer chemotherapy during COVID-19 pandemic. I remember when I also had that short stint of research at the National University of Singapore. I was there in the years 2014 to 2015, particularly at, we had a fieldwork of research at the Singapore National Cancer Center, or the National Cancer Center of Singapore, and the Singapore General Hospital, where we had a research on the quality of life of cancer patients, right? So as looking into this, I know that not even this pandemic should stop, okay, our patients, our cancer patients, from receiving their chemotherapy. You know that even the slightest delay can affect, of course, that of their health, can cause, again, the cancer cells to metastasize, to grow, and affect the parts of the body. Hence, we have to continue with this. And this study on breast cancer chemotherapy during the pandemic is giving us an idea, okay, that we can also conduct this research on how they are managing. Are there some differences, okay, pre-pandemic and that of during the pandemic? What are there also some new, okay, techniques that they are doing? And would there be also some restrictions that are being implemented on hospitals, on clinics, or where they perform this chemotherapy? Okay, so you can still browse, or you can visit that of our website, theantoninus.com.ph, or you may go to the website of the university at the University of Santo Tomas, or that's www.ust.edu.ph, okay, or edu.ph, so that you can see more. I'll give you more examples of COVID-related health professions research. All right, this one was made by one of our colleagues together with her group researchers or student researchers. It was entitled Correlation of Pharmacists' Role to Health-Seeking Behavior of Middle-Aged Consumers During Pandemic. Of course, I cannot show you the entire manuscript. Okay, I'm hoping that this will be published soon, or this would also be presented soon, and you'll be able to attend that. But one of our research promoters, our colleague, Professor Canaria, did this with her students, okay, where they went into what are our role when it comes to health maintenance, when it comes to that of health promotion also. Now, it would also be nice that we would be specific with our survey targets or our respondents, or what we call the study population. Because as we have been repeatedly saying, that there can be limitations on whom we can have our interactions with this pandemic. So we can talk to middle-aged consumers. That may include you, okay, with your ages as our dear students, or maybe those in our nearest neighborhood or even at home, okay? So they did this, in fact, by conducting interviews, also by using Google Forms, okay? We have those, and I'm sure you have already made use of those also. And they send it via email. They also made it available through social media, okay? It can be through WhatsApp, or they filled it through Viber, and most especially through Facebook. Well, here in the country, in the Philippines, there's a wide use of Facebook also. Another also from my university, from my department, a colleague of mine, together with her research students, okay, or other researchers, presented this study. It was entitled Then and Now, the Health Promoting Behaviors of Pharmacy Students Before and During COVID-19. This is an example of a research, okay, again, on health promotion. This is, I think, we can also deal with simply on how we make, okay, formulation of medicines, okay, on drug discovery. This is one aspect that we have to look into also very well, as pushed, as pressed by this health situation that we are in. Because in some way or another, some may contract the virus because of some inadequacies as to health maintenance and health promotion. Repeatedly, we were already informed that we should practice the cough etiquette or sneezing etiquette, that we have to make use of our masks, okay, washing of hands. Now, as health professionals, okay, again, as a pharmacist, as a midwife, as a nurse, as administrators when it comes to health, we are also, okay, we are including it in our responsibilities on promoting health to the general public, to that of the people. That, in fact, it is also part of our task to teach them, if they still don't know, right, how to do the proper hand washing, how to observe social or physical distancing, the importance of taking their medicine, okay, or even following this pharmaceutical or this medical interventions. Those are examples of health promoting behaviors that we can inculcate. Now, what they did on this particular research is, for their convenience also, they had to ask their classmates. Okay, you can do that as well. You can, before you venture to other fields, let's say to outside to your community, why don't you start among yourselves? What if we conduct a research among us for health professions or health professionals? That what is our understanding? Okay, so that at least when we present these results, we will know that well, hoping that we have good health promoting behaviors, if that would be the result, then we ourselves would be ready to do this health promoting behavior to the public, okay, to the non-health professions. But to add also, their part of their study is not only their behaviors during the pandemic, but they also did some retrospection. They add some questions or interviews or studies before the COVID-19, and they made some comparisons, right? So that can be a strategy that we can have in a research, especially now, and again, with the word, the limitations pressed because of this COVID-19 community or health restrictions. Here's another, okay? One area where this COVID-19 situation also has brought us, has spotlighted or focused on, is how we are going back, if I may say, going back to the basics, looking again into where we have started, if we can start anew, or we may have missed something, or at least we can still find something that we can again discover and develop, all right? And what I'm referring to are our herbal medicines, the herbal plants. I have this, I'm not so sure. I know you have it also in your curriculum, in your program. We have a course on drug discovery and development, where the first topics are covering ethno-medicine and ethnopharmacy. That's the study of the use of our plants and other botanical and zoological sources of medicines as basics of drug discovery. And herbal plants are again being discovered. Here in the country, in the Philippines, we're looking into some plants where they can be promising, okay, that this can still be used, if not for the virus itself, at least to support on the symptoms that are felt by a person with COVID-19. I know in Indonesia, okay, ethnopharmacy or ethnomedicine is very much in practice. It's flourishing. I remember the first time I went to Indonesia was when I attended, again, it's a FAPA Congress. The FAPA, by the way, stands for the knowledge of everybody. It's the Federation of Asian Pharmaceutical Associations, where the PPHA of the Philippines and I know the Indonesian Pharmacists Association is also there. The first time I attended, it was in 2012. It was held in Bali, Indonesia. Okay. Yeah, were you there, Mr. Subagio, my friend? Were you there before? Were you able to attend?
No, I think I didn't. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, during the Bali Congress, okay, the theme of the Congress was all about going back to the basics, and it included much of the revisit on researches regarding plant use, okay, or herbal use. And there was a good presentation of this, especially from some traditional medicines also. And I believe a lot are also in the island of Bali, correct? Okay, I enjoyed that experience of mine, that travel. Okay, I hope I'll be able to go back there soon. But then, again, looking into this topic presented, this is also a COVID-related health professions research where our colleague, together with her student researchers, had this with the title of Preferential Use of Herbal Plants During the COVID-19 Lockdown. Okay, so just like here in your country, the Philippines also experienced some lockdowns, and with some unavailable medicines, okay, in the drugstores. And since we have a good backyard or front yard, okay, some of us, our parents, are growing some plants, we look into the herbal uses and medicines, okay, that are available. So They look into how they can make use of herbal medicines, herbal plants that are believed to strengthen immune system. Of course, these are preliminary yet, hence the title the study was on the preferential use. Okay, like they did some researches, interviews, and surveys on people around them. Okay, you may put some how do you call this one, some characteristics, okay, of who will be there. I think you can see some there on how they selected their respondents: 18 years of age and above, that they have a knowledge on herbal plants, okay, that they have been using this, etc. And then on the collection of data, aside from the demographic information, they also, okay, have thought about it, how they have to ask these questions regarding the use of herbal plants, what can be some factors affecting them, or maybe that have pushed them to use these plants as a source of their medicine, or even something that can help them with the situation. See? So what is important is that you will be getting good data, okay, and a topic that would be very relevant. And again, COVID-19, of course, is giving us I may flex it the way we call it. Okay, I just received a note there that my internet connection is unstable. Am I still going well?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Just a moment. Yes.
All right. Okay. So I'm
Yes.
not lagging.
Please continue, Mark.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let me continue. Let us look also into the different journals online. Okay. Again, I'm presenting to you the Antoninus Journal, but this is very true also to the different online journals that we have, because they are now shifting to the online. They still have the print, but they also have the online now, that most of them are offering, okay, their special issues on COVID-19 pandemic. When I say they offer special issues on COVID-19, this is a good opportunity for us to be able to publish also our researches. As you know, there can be some journals who would publish your researches for a certain fee. Okay, there is what we call the publication fee or the publishing fee. Well, not maybe on the acceptance. They can still accept it. They are still going to look on it if it is worth publishing. But once they would already allow you, okay, or they say, yes, this is publishable, there is a rate. Okay, some would have a minimal rate, others no. They can go as high as, I don't know, in US dollars, okay, and thousands also. But as that they are accepting scholarships on COVID-19 pandemic. When we say scholarships on COVID-19 pandemic, they might offer it. They might, I would say they might. So you have to be very picky on this. No, you have to see if they are waiving the fee for the publication. That's a good one, because one important aspect of research is that we get to present our researches, and to present it, aside from public lectures, we have to present it also via publication through journals. Okay, so I hope you can go over, look around different journals, campus websites of this. Some are affiliated with organizations where they can sponsor this one. This is in fact, obviously, okay, is a research essay. We call it a theoretical critical essay that I have presented. I have submitted this, okay, and it was accepted by the Antoninus Journal as part of their, I think this was in one of their volumes. This was in volume 6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken. And they entitled it as the Research and Scholarship during the COVID-19 pandemic. I entitled mine as the pharmacist contributing to the efficient healthcare management against COVID-19. Okay. Well, this was in 2020 at the onsets of COVID-19. I think when we had the COVID, it was declared as a pandemic sometime in March. I had this in April. Okay, so these are the initial contributions of pharmacists. I can give you a copy of this one if you're interested, or if you can visit that of the website of the journal, or I can send it, of course, to my dear friend, my colleague, Mr. Subagio, on this, no, so that you can also see on it. But I humbly present
Thank
it
you.
to
Thank
you. Of course, I humbly present it to you. I'm looking forward to it, that I might make a follow-up research article on this if after 2 years, okay, are we still maintaining the same contributions, or are there some additionals, or do we have already, okay, we have to forego some actions? Because I think one thing that I've mentioned here is regarding how pharmacists are doing extemporaneous preparation or compounding of hand rubs, of sprays of alcohol, because there was a time here in the Philippines we ran out of a supply of our sanitizers, our hand rubs, okay, our alcohols. And so using the international standards and as approved by our Food and Drug Administration, we were allowed, the pharmacists, particularly in the community, in the drugstores, were allowed to extemporaneously compound and mix and make these sanitizers, hand sanitizers that are used, okay, as part of hand hygiene to curb this COVID-19 infections, okay, or the spread of it. So that is one. But I know, since we already have an efficient supply already, we're back, okay, with the supply of these hand rubs. So seldom that they are already doing it. So maybe that's another, as part of a revisit and a research that we can conduct again. What are now, after 2 years, the contributions again of the pharmacists to other health professions? You can also make this one, okay? You make a brief visit on during the onset, and then now, okay, on the present times, and what else in the future can be our contributions for an efficient healthcare management against COVID-19. Okay? So you see, my dear colleagues, whatever can be the topic that we have on mind, of course, as I've said, it's important that we get to present this later on, we get to publish it, but if we, that's in the future, okay? But if we go again to the initial stages, looking at these titles, these topics, everything is talking about the pandemic. Everything is talking about the COVID-19, but it's not just simply talking of how it is crushing us, how the COVID-19 is damaging our lives, okay, if I may put it that way. But it is finding solution. It is even in our littlest ways. Some would say, huh, even with that health promotion role, you're looking into the research. Again, even on the plants that we have studied before, this may appear to be plain, simple. Some may see it as simple research. Some might think that these are not so visited. But again, maybe these are part of the lessons that COVID-19 or the pandemic situation is telling us. Maybe it's a good time for us to look into some aspects of our work in health profession, some areas, okay, that we have long forgotten, that we thought are not equally important, that we think that maybe there are some who can do it, but in fact, we the health professionals are in fact in the best position to do it. All we have to do is to think of a very good topic, okay, a very good title also that would go with it, and as lesson or something that we can pick it from here is that we have to make it really relevant. We do not just simply say it's all about during this pandemic, but we can look into, are you talking about at the onset? Are you talking of how it is happening now? Or are you going to make a comparison of before and after? Something like that, okay? And maybe I have not featured it here, but if I may give it to you as a suggestion, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Since we are all here, you can make maybe a collaborative research that pharmacists can work with nurses, can work with midwives, can work with other health professions and you can research on what are our activities and responsibilities during this pandemic situation. And at least we will have a common ground, okay? And this can also start a good respect among us, and we will have an understanding of what we are really doing. And you can put some criteria there of who are to be included in this research of yours. It can include future health professionals, and that would be you students. You can include also young professionals that you can contact, those who are at the entry level, those who have just graduated, and have earned their work, their licenses perhaps. You can also make a comparison with those who are senior already or those who have been working for quite some time. And this can be a good playing field. What I mean is a good research field, okay? So that it would lay all our stones, okay? When I say lay the stones, it can tell us, okay, what we are really doing so that we have one direction. And what did we say about our direction? That we are moving forward and going upward with improvement, okay? So now there would be questions, okay, in our research courses, research classes. So with all these researches that we have, maybe you have learned, you may have discussed with Mr. Sabagio, which one are you going to do? We have different types of researches. You can see here, you can do a qualitative research, making content analyses, doing it historical, meaning you go, in the past. You can still go ethnographic, narrative, phenomenological, grounded theory, case studies, okay? These are qualitative researches. You can either make a scoping review. One faculty of mine did that. You can gather, you can make use of all published articles, and then you present now their common topics or maybe also their differences, and they can come up of a certain topic, how they are agreeing. You can go historical so that you will learn from the lessons of the past and how they are affecting us. You can conduct studies, now not really questioning, but at least building again some theories on the practices that we are having these days or even in the nearest future. We can have research by practitioners, like the actions that they are doing, the actions that are performed. I have just finished, and in fact, I am continuing with this on research on the competencies of health professionals. And I am including now competencies during the pandemic or even in emergency situation, in disaster preparedness. You can add that also, okay? Another on quantitative research, there would be surveys, causal comparative, correlational, okay? There would be single subject and experimental or quasi or quasi experimental. There can be limitations, just like the experimental. we have agreed on this for the entire department in my university, that we cannot yet perform experimental because our schools, our universities, our laboratories are closed for physical or the face-to-face contact. What we are doing are all online. So we cannot go to our laboratories to perform these tests, these activities. So we're shifting now to other areas like on social and administrative practice, on leadership qualities, and so on. Okay. So that, again, with the question, which one, you can answer that with which would can you perform with all the resources that are available. When I say resources, financial wise, okay, with our budget would permit us, even with the respondents, the study population who would be with us, who would be working with us. And I hope you do not miss, of course, the research agenda of your university, of your institution. Like, if I may share it in my university, because we are located in the northern part of the universe of the country of the Philippines, and that there are geographic region, or we are having some how would you call this one? Yes, ethnographic groups, okay, in that part of the country, then we are including them also, okay? And if you remember when I said that if you cannot go out of your respective homes or your campuses, and it would be best to stay home, you can make use of what we have in the internet. Okay, you can conduct still interviews via Zoom. Okay, you can still gather data using now Google Forms and similar ones. Okay, and still the importance of that is that you do not miss some areas of research, like on the ethics, on the research ethics, and you still perform the review of literature, that of the confidentiality and the participation of researchers, and of course, the student population, the research population, especially if you're dealing with human subjects. Okay, so I leave to you, of course, the answer on the question, which one are you going to perform? I am presenting again the different types of research methodologies. You can answer with this as long as you will take note again of your research resources, people working with you, and again, that of your main research agenda. Now, still on talking about this conducting research during COVID-19 pandemic, okay, I'd like to share with you this research agenda covering the years 2021 to 2025. Now I am going to have a change a little bit of my hats. Okay, we call it that, we say it that way. From that of my being a professor at St. Louis University, I will wear a little bit of my hat as an officer, as a member of the board of trustees of our national organization. With the assistance of our committee on research, I thank them, of course, for sharing this one. This has been presented during the anniversary, the 101st anniversary of the Philippine Pharmacists Association, and then again during the World Pharmacist Day. Oh, by the way, belated, okay, if we can say it that way. Happy World Pharmacists Day. As students, you are also included in that celebration. For the research agenda of our association, it is envisioned to define and describe broad research domains and priority research themes that the PPHA, or the Philippine Pharmacists Association, will pursue through participatory, collaborative, and translational, okay, for the word translation, translational research in pharmacy practice and pharmaceutical sciences. I know the Indonesian Pharmacy Society or Association are also organization are also with this. No, you also have your own research agenda. And if I may share it still with you, that there is a two-pronged aim of our research agenda. First is to define opportunities for our association and the general membership. So everybody, all pharmacists in the country, including student pharmacists, to actively develop or conduct specific research initiatives that address questions of key relevance to pharmacists, the pharmacy profession. I would like to include student pharmacists and everyone in the health professions, okay, because you are indeed our colleagues, and that of the optimal use of medicine. And another, to provide important guidance, clarity, and focus to the association's research-related advocacy, professional affairs, and of policy initiatives. This one is very true not only for pharmacy, but I know for other health professions, this can also be the current challenges in the conduct of research. Okay? And again, this is not only here in the country, okay, but in other countries as well. I know in Indonesia, you may be experiencing this also. This was taken from the same research agenda as published, right? And as presented. These are the current challenges that we may encounter in the conduct of research. It can be our research utilization and the monitoring of utilization, okay? Especially at this time where we can have some quarantines, where we have limitations as to traveling, on how we can implement it. There are several programs that have been put into halt because the signatories are not present, because people are not very much aware of it because they haven't heard of it. They don't see it when it's published. And so when you utilize now the research products, they're not fully aware of it. Another, we also are challenged with the opportunities in research. But I think I always say this, if it's not a challenge, maybe we can say it is an inspiration, okay? So this can inspire us that there are now greater opportunities for us to research in. And this is a good one on a positive note, okay? The prioritization, yes, there are a lot of topics that we would like to tackle. There are a lot of topics that we would like to cover. But most importantly, we have to know which one comes first, which comes next, and which may come the last. But of course, we still have to perform that. Not because it's just on the last that we will forget about it already. We still have to do it. But it's a matter of prioritization, right? Still on the challenges, we have the mindset and the attitude. I think what we're having now is having a good mindset, meaning you are very well prepared by your university. The research attitude is being inculcated on you well, that you are being developed already as a future researcher also. That's important. You are not in a research. It does not mean that, okay, what am I going to do? Because I am required to do it, I just have to do it. No, we have to remove any of the mediocrity that we have to condition that of our minds. As I've said, you can turn the challenges into inspiration so that you can have that good attitude and proceed with your research. Another would be your expertise and resources. We mentioned about the resources earlier that let's see what can be available, okay, around us. And for the expertise, just like your professors, just like your faculty research promoters or advisors, you have to seek and you have to guidance from them. You have to work well on what areas, okay, can you be guided. Like on my part, I go more on pharmacy practice, on pharmacy education also, and even on social and administrative and leadership areas, right? And then, okay. Do we have, okay, I just saw a, am I still going well? Ahmad, Mr. Sabadio?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Please
Okay, okay.
continue.
Okay, let me continue. So again, no, it's a good thing that you are going to look first on the expertise of the people working with you. But of course, as future professionals, I am also in telling you that you have to start working on your expertise already. Okay. And then next would be on the bureaucracy and access to funding. All right. So we are in a department, we are working on a certain institution, there's a certain organization. Funding is very important, okay? Where we are going to get the financial resources, or at least no, where we're going to have this funds that can propel, okay, that can help us be able to meet our research objectives and aims, okay? And so with that, you should be knowledgeable on how things go, on how you can achieve these outcomes with the help, of course, with the financial help of people around you. And most importantly, will be, you look on the next one, on collaboration, okay? Like what we are doing now, we're all working together. I may be from another country, we are all neighbors here, but we are all health professionals. And so since we are battling together this situation, this COVID-19 pandemic situation, that it's nice that we are going to collaborate well so that we can bring out the best, okay, among us. We can help each other, we can share. There may be some experiences that will tell us which we should not perform. This can be some loopholes that we have to pay attention to, or these are the things that we can put together and we can strengthen and make it better and effective for us to pursue this research. So this I share to you the current challenges in the conduct of research in pharmacy, and again, as well as in different health professions, and not only here in my country, in the Philippines, in Indonesia, your country, as well as in other places. Okay, these are the research priority areas that were included by my university. So you have their pharmaceutical products and services. This is a priority area. I am sharing this to you because you might be interested, or you can be guided in finding that specific area where you can conduct a research, right? Because pharmacy is in the other health professions would really be a big or a very wide, or has a wide scope, right? So you can go on the products and services. So for the pharmacy students here, it can be on pharmaceutical products and services. It can be on the formulation, how you can have access, how you can ensure the accessibility and correct use of these medicines or vaccines and other health technologies to the public. Another area is on pharmaceutical innovation or innovations in health professions. Of course, we are still talking to our future nurses and midwives, also, and to the rest of health professions, so that all of us here, pharmacists, okay, can create value to our community by having improvement, innovations to our products, processes, platforms, okay, and still have accessibility and effective use of our essential medical products. We also have, as a research priority, regulations. Okay, even if we have the best products that we can say, even if we have the best services, if these are not permitted to be performed, if they are not being practiced well, okay, I'm talking about the regulatory systems. I know you have your a counterpart of the Food and Drug Administration here in the country, the Philippine FDA. We also have the Regulatory Board of Pharmacy. We have an institution here, we call it the Professional Regulations Commission, and that under it is the Regulatory Board of Pharmacy, where we have a panel there implementing the different laws and policies, including us, of course, in our Philippine Pharmacists Association. The regulatory systems are in place You can research there in order to ensure quality, safety, efficacy of the medicines, vaccines, and again, health technologies. And lastly, okay, because it involves people, we are one driving force of researches as well as that of the practice that we can develop or we can improve. We have the workforce, okay? So we've been talking about collaboration earlier, so we can conduct a research in this priority area of pharmacy workforce, of healthcare or professions workforce, people working with us, around us. This is to ensure the availability of adequate numbers of appropriately trained staff for managing the supply and the delivery of products and services. Okay, so with this, I have read this one. It's important, no, that these priorities, we have identified these priorities. They are relevant, especially with our situation. They also go beyond the academic setting, meaning it should not stop. I know I am addressing you now in the university with our students here, but I hope we're not just simply doing it as part of our academic task to pass our subject or to be able to graduate our chosen programs or courses, but this should be a stepping stone. This should give us the momentum to perform more and higher researches later on as we become professionals or licensed, okay, health professionals. And that in these areas, we intend to encourage creativity and innovation. That this would promote research culture as well as foster sense of accountability in the pharmacy as well as in the healthcare sector. So with your indulgence, let me just give you this learning insights of how we have. I'm going already for more than an hour, all right? So for the learning insights, in conclusion, right? We find ourselves faced with a situation that demands an extraordinary expression of our fundamental, ethical, professional duty of every health professional, whether you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're an apotheker, okay, you're a pharmacist, you're a midwife, you're a radiologic technologist, you're a medical technologist, and a health administrator, everything. The primacy of benefits, okay, meaning we look into how we can benefit our patients and that social responsibility of our respective professions in order to give what is the right of health of the general public. What we are having now is very unprecedented. It is a historical opportunity for everybody in the health and medical sciences. You, our dear students, this is the great opportunity to claim your roles by demonstrating that you are active, that you are relevant members of the health team, our healthcare team, and that you will assume your responsibility for service in times like these of crisis, and also standing in solidarity with our profession. We are forced with uncertainties, with frustrations at the loss of our traditional educational experiences. As I've said, there are still a lot of us not able to meet how we do it before, how we did it before, traditionally face-to-face. We do have limitations, but we're embracing technology also. We're embracing like the flipped classroom, as they call it, distance learning. You are dear students in the medical and health education institutions today. You have the alternative of being innovative, okay? You can now generate new environments. You can now generate new strategies to achieve not only your personal interests of your training, okay, but also for professional, your ethical acts of commitment and responsibility, which is for the common good. You, our dear health profession students, will have to decide responsibly whether you contribute to building a new bridge between the development of your professional competency and that of your patient care in this current pandemic environment of the health systems in crisis. I now challenge you, or should I say, I am now inspiring you. I hope I do inspire you to explore with creativity. Notice the emphasis that I'm giving here with the different colors of your creativity, of innovation, of flexibility, with responsibility and courage, without giving up your wellness and your personal integrity. And this, my dear colleagues, is where effective and relevant research comes in. Those that I have emphasized here, from creativity up to your integrity, of course, these are professional values, but these are also fundamental values in research. And this I leave to you as our learning insights for this morning's talk. These are my references, as well as some suggested readings for you for this lecture on research. So we have the role of health sciences students during a pandemic. You may research on this even with a Google search. You can look for this. Another is on the future of pharmacy, or the disruption creates transformative opportunities and challenges. Again, I included here also the website for our journal, where I got some, those that I have shown you, the Antoninus Journal, and then conducting research during the COVID-19 pandemic. This one, by the way, came from APA, or what we call the American Psychological Association, and the Pharmacy Research Agenda 2021-2025, the Philippine Pharmacists Association. All right? So before I go on research, what is that very important C there? That's collaboration. I am showing you, I don't know if you remember this, my dear friend.
Yes,
This is
of course.
you
I
remember
remember
this was taken. The one on the right was our
Yes.
very first meeting. This were our colleagues from different countries in Asia, where we are showing here some how would you call this, campaign materials for the
Yes.
FAPA 2016 and FAPA 2018, because after Bangkok, Thailand, that's when we had it in FAPA Congress in 2018 in Manila. I was also there also. But for the picture on your right as our first, I think Subagio, you're there on the top, right? And I am here. And we have the same. We're both on plaid, on checkered. And then the last one on your left was during our gala night. I think this was the closing ceremonies already.
Yes. Farewell party, I think.
Yes, this was a farewell party. You're holding the Philippine flag because I think we gave Philippine flags because we will be the next host that time on the 2018. All right. So I am missing, of course, this very good people. I'm looking forward that our dear students will also be able to have such experience because of keeping intact their values on research and most especially on collaboration. I have one more slide to show you. Remember this one? Okay, I don't know if you still look very well on this.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, the other one is the farewell party. I think this one is this was a more formal party, I think. You remember this one down with a party that they have hosted, a dinner that they have hosted for the dignitaries, the VIPs. But since we are the international staff, we were also invited. And of course, this was the very final dinner that we had in one of the malls, the big malls in Bangkok. We were seated together. I have reviewed.
I think Joseph Wong who is invited for the decisions.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
This was, and we were seated together. We sat together during that farewell dinner
Yeah.
where we had
with
Tom
$2 or $4 challenge.
Yes, correct. The padala. Yeah. Okay. So you see, my friends, my dear colleagues, our dear students, collaboration can also be a key, just like what we are having now. And thank you very much, my friend, for having me here in this. Once again, this is our, I hope I was able to deliver well that of our topic. I meant it more to be, should I say, inspirational and more of motivational for you to do it, that nothing can stop us, that amidst this pandemic, let us continue with our research in pharmacy as well as in our different health professions, because this one is going to give us and pave the way for our solutions that is very much needed by our community, by the people, because as health professionals, we are mandated, we have a responsibility to do this to protect the health of the people. I am Mark Ryan Langit from the Philippines. Thank you very much for your active participation. Terima kasih.
Yes, thank you, Mark. I'm speechless actually. Yeah, very nice presentations, very interesting, and very nice slides that you have that show to all of us and also for my students. You presence about 1 hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
And time is fly very fast.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so from that your slide, maybe I will open discussion to all of my students. If you have any questions, you can directly raise hand, or also you can open mic and ask directly to Marks. Is there any questions, students? It's very, very interesting, Mark. So I think between Philippines and Indonesia, we have some problems. We are facing the same problems. And from your slide, we can realize that we have some research, including in herbal research and also in experimental and quasi-experimental. Maybe you missing one field of research. In Indonesia, we have telepharmacy research. So many many kind of telepharmacy, but actually we don't have any keyword of what is telepharmacy actually. So maybe it's still developed in Indonesia. So maybe you can describe how about in Philippines about telepharmacy?
All right. Telepharmacy in the Philippines is still thriving, of course. Okay, I would say thriving because that can be a reason why I did not include it yet here in our my talk. Okay, but the telepharmacy itself, the very practice of it, has already been included in our law. So recently in 2016, we have passed the Philippine Pharmacy Act of 2016. It already changed the 40-year-old law, because before that, we had in 1969, we had the the pharmacy law here in the country, and it did not include telepharmacy, okay, in that of our practice. But with that of our pharmacy, with the new pharmacy law, it has included telepharmacy already. Okay, I am looking now into how they have defined it. Although I don't have I don't have it. I think I have it here, but you can, of course, it is available. Okay, the telepharmacy, but right now they have already, we are starting already. We have starting. When we say that of telepharmacy, it is a pharmacy where the practice of which is includes already other platform. Okay, apart from the face-to-face, we make use of other media like telephone. We have the multimedia using that of this one, the teleconferencing, using online, okay? And with that, this will be used in order to augment the traditional sources that we are doing, especially at these times of quarantine. There is reduced accessibility already. And with telepharmacy service, okay, what we are having more of the telepharmacy here in the country would be consultations, counseling services also. That's how we do it first, initially here in the country. And a lot are doing it online. And I think we have it in some universities and some institutions like the University of the Philippines in the Philippine General Hospital. They have it. There is also now a local, a private university also in Manila, the capital of the Philippines, also doing it. We have one hospital in a department, a pharmacy department in one government hospital up north in my city, in Baguio City, in here in the Philippines, also doing it. But what they're doing is more of as a drug information service where our colleagues, other health professionals, and pharmacists alike, okay, and the public, in fact, can ask, can call, can communicate, okay, send emails, and they may ask questions, okay, with regards to that of their medicines, and particularly on pharmaceutical goods and services. And what's nice is most are offering it as a free service. Maybe for the start, okay, they're doing it. I'd like to ask it also as you have mentioned in Indonesia, you're doing it. A lot are doing it in your country. Is that also the context or the coverage of how you do telepharmacy in Indonesia?
Yes, of course, Max. Some people in Indonesia here, actually in some big city such as Jakarta, Medan, Surabaya, some researchers have research about telepharmacy. Some of them is actually have a crazy idea to changing the telepharmacy into telepharmacies. So it's means it's aimed. It's not only pharmacy, but it's only pharmacies who can give this what we call only pharmacy who can give these services, right? So in fact, in Indonesia, we have some e-commerce that some e-commerce try to sell drugs directly to the people. So without any pharmacist interception, without any pharmacist intervention, something like that. So I think it's a great idea if we can research about this topic about the telepharmacies.
Yes, I think that is right now. In fact, what I am doing is I am typing on our chat box. Okay, how this was defined. Okay, there you go. Can you see it? Maybe most can see it. This is the definition. This is the definition of telepharmacy services as provided by our law here in the country, the Philippine Pharmacy Act. Okay, so it says here telepharmacy services refer to pharmaceutical services of a duly licensed pharmaceutical outlet, which is done through the use of telephone, teleconferencing, or facsimile. So, I'm sorry, with what I mentioned earlier, that we have pharmacists doing this using the different platforms. It can be online, it can be using telephone, okay? But these services are only to augment, meaning just to add, because with the situation, those that we are doing in a physical pharmacy or outlets. Here in our country, you can only do telepharmacy services online, for example, if you have your own physical pharmacy.
Pharmacies. Okay.
Yes, if you have a drugstore, okay, which is physical, where you have a space there, it is physically located in the community. If you have that one, of course, with all its papers, and that there is a pharmacist working there, hence the term, there is a duly licensed pharmaceutical outlet. So we do have some requirements here for its operations. Now, with that physical setup, only then that you can provide telepharmacy services online or using the telephone, that you can be permitted. There can still be some limitations, like how you're going to process prescriptions. Would you be allowed to do some substitutions? How far can you go with the consultations, or should you go for referrals, or also with the answering of the queries or questions? I was listening to you very well with regards to the problems of changing the drugs. Did you mention that? Changing the medicines as it would be prescribed? Well, you cannot, here in the Philippine context, you cannot do that immediately, because you have to, just like how we do it in the physical setup in the pharmacy, you still have to call the attention, and you have to get the permission of the medical practitioner, the one who prescribed the medicine. And we have to communicate well, we have to collaborate well, and talk to each other if this is permitted. Telepharmacy will not be a substitute. It should not serve as something that would leave our physical pharmacy behind, something that telepharmacy should not abandon our pharmacy outlets that we have in the community, but rather telepharmacy services should add up, should be able to increase the accessibility and the availability of our pharmaceutical services and health services.
Yeah, very, very interesting, Mark. I have one question. Is there any accreditation to the pharmacy?
Do you mean the online pharmacy, the telepharmacy, or the pharmacy itself?
Pharmacy itself. You mentioned
yes.
Yeah, okay.
We do have it. The Philippine FDA, or the Food and Drug Administration, have issued this. Actually, we have an earlier law that was in 1963. There is the Food and Drug Administration, or the Food and Drug Act, which was strengthened by the Food and Drug Administration Act passed in 2009, where they constantly review and give us requirement, or we call it the accreditation, of the different pharmacy establishments and outlets. Let's say those would include, number one, of course, there is that physical space for the pharmacy. Another, that on its operational hours, there should be a pharmacist there. If there is a need for a help, there can be what we call the pharmacy assistants, or the support workforce that are present. Then the license also of the pharmacist should be updated. It should be renewed.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? The list of the medicines that are available should also be updated. And that institution that I've mentioned earlier, the Philippine FDA, would also be having its regular inspection, so that these outlets are indeed accredited and are following the requirements. And the same thing with teleconferencing. The telepharmacy services. They are now putting all into. They have now drafted. They have it in place. All we have to do is to implement it. Once everybody will be practicing it, what I mean is there would be an increase in its practice and implementation. We do have also our policies and regulations when it comes to telepharmacy.
Yes, very interesting, Mark.
I think this is a good one also. This is a good area since we have this as starting a budding area of practice, and that you now have it flourishing in Indonesia. Therefore, you can also look into this, comparing, or maybe you can have a sort of a satisfaction study for people who may have had this telepharmacy services. You can conduct a survey if they are amenable with it, if they are satisfied, if they think this one is good, and you may also include here some areas that you may improve. And a separate, because we cannot combine it, no? You can also have another idea that I may suggest here. You can also have a separate research on pharmacists and even other health professionals who are affected, on how they are benefited with this new practice area.
Yes, thank you very much, Max. I agree with you 100%. Jadi anak-anak, banyak sekali penelitian yang bisa kita lakukan ke depannya. Salah satunya itu tingkat kepuasan dengan telefarmasi. And also, Mark, I think it's very interesting which you mentioned. I'm not so sure which slide do you have, but you mentioned about interprofessional research, yeah, between pharmacists with nurse, pharmacists with midwife, and also pharmacists with other professional to doing
Yes.
research in this field.
As in the university, right? In your university, you have also different programs aside from pharmacy, correct?
Yes.
So maybe you can work together, talk to each other of how you can team up and work together. Let's say for your pharmacy research team, they can have a topic, a research topic where they have professional activities that they do together with nurses. So you can conduct a research study, a survey with those who are working together. You may look on some published articles already, or maybe you can make your own based on the responsibilities of the pharmacists and the nurses, and you can construct a questionnaire where you can see how they can work together towards that responsibility. Maybe you can say, is the pharmacist doing this? Let's say ensuring the quality of care for our patients. So in what areas? So the pharmacist is doing this. Is the nurse also doing this? Or they may check there, what are these following areas? Or the students themselves, as they can feel it, as we no longer would like to create partition among us, because as mentioned, as emphasized, with this pandemic situation, it really has brought us an environment where we should work together, because that's one way how we can combat this health crisis that we are having, if we simply work together. So maybe it's nice that we will not just simply, I'm a pharmacist, I'm doing, but because I'm a nurse, this is what I am doing, and yours is different. Or maybe the midwife, this is what we do. Yes, we can have our individual work, but I always say we all speak the same language, and that is the language of patient care.
Yes, agree. So, anak-anak ada yang mau ditanya nggak? Atau mau foto bareng? Kalau foto bareng, kameranya mesti on berarti. Is there any questions, students?
Seems like our students are quiet. maybe they're hungry for lunch.
Yes.
Have they eaten their lunch? I believe in your time it's almost 1 o'clock,
yes.
Right?
If there is no questions, I would like to end this virtual visiting professor. Thank you very much. I apologize.
Sir Subagio, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is it okay? Do we have already our picture here or together? Or maybe we can have a photo up?
Teman-teman, Prof. Mark minta foto, bisa on kan kameranya satu-satu semuanya. Wait a moment, sir. You can the student will be like, okay, perfect. So I think there's yang lainnya.
Yeah, so that we can all have a nice.
Tadi Prof. Mark sampaikan bahwa kalau ngerjain skripsi jangan cuma selesai, tapi harus ada inovasinya, harus ada yang berbeda ya, begitu ya. Sesuatu yang menarik, dan tidak tertutup kemungkinan untuk bekerja sama dengan prodi-prodi lain. Is it okay, Max? Or maybe
I can now see them. Okay, so let me take a picture. Would that be okay? Should I take it?
Yes.
All right.
You can do it yourself.
At the count of
Actually, I
three.
have some screenshot in my computer. I will send you later.
Hello there. How are you? Okay. Can I at the count of three? Okay. Maybe please give your best smiles. Okay. We'll take a picture. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let me check on that if we got the picture.
And also we now in Indonesia as a freestyle, gaya bebas.
I'm sorry.
So you can give the best the best picture of them. Yes, you can count down, Mark.
Okay. Wait, I cannot take a good picture first. Okay.
Yeah.
One more, please. If we can have
Yes.
one more at the count of 3 and 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay.
Okay. For a minute, I'll just check if you're able to capture that one. I think I'm not getting it.
We can.
Who can do a print screen here?
You can find in your laptop on the top of the right side.
Yeah, actually, I'm getting it, but it seems like all right. One more time. 1, 2, 3. One more, please. Okay. Let me check it if I really got that correct. No. Okay. Can you do it on your end?
Let me try it. If
All
that's
right.
working, I think it's the last is the best. Okay, from my side.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Okay, I think it's okay, Mark.
Were you able to get that?
Yes.
Okay. I was able to get one, but it was on a speaker view, so I only got my picture and some.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you got it in your part, maybe you can just send it to me via Messenger soon or by email.
Okay.
Thank you. Right.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. I apologize if there is any what we call any sesuatu yang tidak menyenangkan ya, Mark.
It's my pleasure always to be with you. If there would be a time again that you'd be needing me, I'll go with you. I mean, I'll make a time.
And then I hope we can continue this meeting with other events, something like that, and maybe we can join some research together between Philippines and Indonesia.
Definitely.
We can arrange it. Maybe if you need some students to doing some research in Indonesia, we have many students here in Cikarang, Jakarta, so I can ask them to doing your research, something like that, and also to actually for themselves to doing their research, something like that, Mark.
Yes, we can do that, of course.
Okay, thank you, Mark. See you soon. See you later.
I'll see you soon. Yes, do take care, all of you.
Yes,
thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Makasih ya anak-anak sudah join di Zoom kita.
Thank you very much. I'll be leaving the meeting already. Terima kasih. Thank you.
Terima kasih, Mark.